At my graduation party, my mom said, "Your degree is for the family, so give me your first paycheck." I laughed and replied, "Actually, I have a surprise for you." When security guards walked in, her face went pale. Most people see graduation as a celebration of hard work, surrounded by proud family and friends, but for me, it was a battle. I knew my mom well. She always found a way to take whatever I earned, but this time, I was ready. Growing up, my mom cared a lot about how things looked to others, to everyone outside. She was a loving, hardworking parent who just wanted the best for me, but at home, it was all about business. Everything was a deal. If she spent money on me, it wasn't out of love, it was an investment she expected me to pay back. When I got good grades, it wasn't for my future, it was so she could brag about raising a smart kid. She controlled my life, my schedule, my friends, my choices. When I got into my dream university with a full scholarship, she made one thing clear: this degree belongs to the family. Your paycheck, your bank account, your future, everything is mine. At 17, I felt trapped, but I was smart, and I had a plan. I pretended to agree with her. I acted excited when she talked about quitting her job as soon as I got hired. She thought she had won. But behind the scenes, I was preparing. I made sure my scholarship money went directly to me, not her. I got a small part-time job on campus and kept it a secret. I opened a new bank account in a different state, where all my earnings went. I saved proof of all her threats and demands. Then, graduation day came. It was showtime. My mom threw a huge party, not for me, but for herself. She invited over 100 people to celebrate. During her speech, she said, "My child has achieved something amazing today, and since this degree belongs to the family, her first paycheck will go where it should." She held out her hand, waiting for me to agree. I laughed and said, "Actually, I have a surprise for you." Right then, security guards walked in. Her face turned white. Why were they there? Because this wasn't just a party, it was an eviction. While my mom was busy planning her big party, I was planning my escape. A month before graduation, I spoke to a lawyer. I told him everything: how she controlled my money, tried to take everything I earned, and had been emotionally abusive for years. The most important part? The house we lived in wasn't hers. When my dad passed away, he left the house to me. She had no legal right to it. Thanks to my lawyer, I had everything ready to officially kick her out. She tried to argue, scream, and demand that I respect my mother, but the documents were solid. The house, the bills, the property taxes, everything was under my name. And she had 30 days to leave. Everyone at the party went silent. Some people left quietly, while others just stared in shock. I turned to the security guards and said, "If she causes trouble, you know what to do." She started to shout, but one of the guards stepped forward. "This is a legal eviction. If you refuse to leave, the police will be called." That shut her up. I walked out of my own graduation party with my diploma in one hand and my freedom in the other. Life without her. She didn't leave quietly. She tried everything: crying, begging, and guilt-tripping. She even showed up at my new apartment once, but I had security there too. Eventually, she ran out of options. From what I heard, she ended up staying with a distant cousin. She still tries to contact me, but I don't reply. Now, I have my own life, my own money, and my own choices. I will never let anyone control me again. I thought it was over. I thought she'd finally leave me alone, get a job, and move on. I was wrong. It started with phone calls, blocked numbers, fake accounts, random strangers messaging me, saying terrible things. "You took everything from her. She sacrificed so much for you. How could you do this to your own mother?" At first, I ignored them. But things only got worse. I changed my number, locked my social media, and tried to move on, but then the bank called. Someone tried to get into my account. They failed, but the attempt came from my hometown. I knew it was my mom. She had forced me to share every password and document growing up. Even if I changed things, she probably remembered enough to try. So, I switched banks, set up fraud alerts, and thought it was over. Then, the police showed up. The false accusations. 2 officers knocked on my door. "Are you, my name?" One asked. "We got a report saying you committed financial fraud against your mother. She claims you stole her house and evicted her illegally." I was shocked, but I had all my paperwork ready: my dad's will, the title deed, the court-signed eviction notice. Everything was legal. The officers looked through it and nodded. "This isn't the first time we've dealt with cases like this," one of them said. "She's wasting our time." They left, but I knew my mom wouldn't stop. The setup. The next attack came when I was finally feeling free. I had a new job in a new city. Life was good. Then HR called me in. "There's been a concern," my manager said. A woman claiming to be your mother called, he explained. She said you were unstable, a danger to yourself and others, and that you stole from your family. My stomach dropped. Do you believe her? I asked. No, he replied, but we had to check, legally. She was trying to ruin my reputation at work. I left that day feeling sick and furious. The unexpected news. I was tired of running, so I called my uncle, my mom's older brother, the only one who ever stood up to her. She's desperate, he said, and desperate people do stupid things. I just need her to stop, I told him. Then he told me something that made my heart race. She's staying with some new boyfriend, met him online, and he's bad news. Bad how? I asked. She's been telling him everything about you, your job, your apartment, your life, and I think he's the one pushing her to go after you. It wasn't just her anymore, she had a partner, and now I was dealing with both of them. Facing them, I decided to end it. I went back to my hometown, not to talk, but to finish this. I waited outside the rundown house where she was staying. After about an hour, she walked out, looking smug like she had already won. I stepped in front of her, her smile disappeared. You need to stop, I said, my voice shaking but firm. Whatever game you're playing, it's over. She laughed. Oh sweetheart, you can't get rid of me that easily. Then the door opened behind her. Her boyfriend stepped out, tall, greasy, and his eyes felt like they were sizing me up. It was clear now, my mom wasn't in control anymore, and that terrified me. The warning. He looked me over and grinned. So, you're the little money maker. My mother shot him a nervous look, but he ignored her. I'm not giving you anything, I snapped. He laughed. Oh sweetheart, you don't have to. He tossed an envelope at me, and I caught it without thinking. The warning. Consider this a warning, the man said. You might want to read that before making more enemies. I opened the envelope, and my stomach dropped. Inside were photos of me, walking to work, leaving my apartment, getting into my car, all taken from a distance. I looked up, my heart pounding. You've been following me? I asked. He grinned. Relax, no harm done. My mother stood there, quiet and nervous. For the first time, she looked scared. She clearly didn't expect him to go this far. She wasn't in control anymore. Turning the tables, I forced myself to stay calm and shoved the envelope back at him with a fake smile. You think this scares me? I said. His grin faded a bit. Good. I turned to my mother. This is who you chose? A washed-up thug with a bad camera? Her face turned red. Watch your mouth. Or what? You'll send him to stand outside my job and take pictures? I looked at the man again. What's next? A fake lawsuit? Or are you stupid enough to try something illegal? His jaw clenched. Bingo. People like him hated being called predictable. I stepped forward. Here's my warning. Keep following me, keep making threats, and I will bury you under so much legal trouble, you won't be able to breathe. Then I looked back at my mother. And if you think he's going to take care of you, you're more clueless than I thought. Her eyes flashed with anger. I don't need to be taken care of. Then why are you living in a rundown place with a guy who thinks intimidation is a personality? I said, shaking my head. She said nothing. She hated being called out. I turned around, got in my car, and left, but the whole drive home, my hands wouldn't stop shaking. The breaking point. I knew it wasn't over, and I was right. 2 days later, someone broke into my apartment. They didn't steal much, just made a mess, threw clothes around, dumped my food on the floor, and left the fridge open like it was a warning. There was no proof it was him, but I knew, if I didn't end this now, I'd never be safe. Calling for help. I made a call, to someone who hated my mother even more than I did, my father's sister. She had cut my mom out of her life years ago, but she had power and resources. When I told her everything, she didn't hesitate. Send me his name, she said, I'll handle it. I didn't ask what she planned to do, I didn't want to know, but less than a week later, my mother's boyfriend was gone. No phone number, no online presence, no trace of him anywhere. The last call. Then, my mother called me, crying. What did you do? She sobbed. I just smiled. Consider this a warning. Her boyfriend was gone, and I didn't ask how. I didn't need to. I heard his name. It happened during a phone call. My mother was yelling, her voice rough and angry. She wanted answers. She wanted control, but I wasn't giving her either. For once, I was the one in control, or at least I thought I was. The last game. I should have known she wouldn't just give up. A month later, she came back fighting. I got home late from work, feeling tired and ready to sleep, but the moment I stepped into my apartment, I knew something was wrong. Someone had been here. Nothing was stolen or broken, but things were slightly off. A chair was moved, a picture on the wall was tilted, and there was a faint smell of perfume I hadn't worn in years. She had been in my apartment. And she left something behind, a letter on my kitchen counter. I hesitated before picking it up. Something felt wrong, but I opened it anyway. It wasn't a threat, it was an invitation. She wanted me to meet her, one last time. The meeting, I went, not because I forgave her, not because I wanted to make things right. I went because I needed answers. She picked a public place, an old, quiet diner just outside of town. It was half empty when I arrived. She was already there, sitting in a booth with her hands wrapped around a cup of coffee she wasn't drinking. She looked tired, not like someone who had won, like someone who had lost. I sat down across from her, arms crossed. Breaking into my apartment was a nice touch. She shook her head. I didn't break in, I still have a key. I tensed. She must have made a copy of my spare key before she left. Typical. I'll be changing the locks, I said. She didn't argue. Instead, she reached into her bag and pulled out an old, crumpled envelope. She slid it across the table. I didn't touch it. What's this? She looked me in the eye. The truth. The truth. I opened the envelope slowly. Inside were old legal papers, yellowed with age. When I saw the name on them, my stomach twisted. It wasn't my name. It was someone else's. I flipped through the papers, my heart beating faster. Birth certificate, custody papers. My hands shook. And then she said it. I thought I had more time. I thought I could fix this before you ever found out. I looked at her, my eyes blurry with tears. What is this? My voice didn't sound like mine. She took a deep breath. You're not my daughter. The breaking point. I felt like the ground was falling away beneath me. That's not true, I whispered. This is some kind of sick joke. I'm sorry, she said, her voice shaking. I should have told you years ago. I gripped the edge of the table. So what? You just stole me? She winced. It wasn't like that. But it was. The documents made everything clear. She had been my foster parent, briefly, temporarily, and then she never gave me back. The truth comes out. Back then, the legal system was a mess. Paperwork went missing, and by the time anyone noticed the mistake, it was too late. She fought to keep me. She lied in court and twisted everything to make herself look like the good person, and I never knew. I looked at her, this woman who controlled my life, took my money, and stole my choices, and none of it was ever hers to take. Walking away, I don't remember standing up. I don't remember knocking the chair over. I just remember walking out. She called after me, please, just talk to me. But I didn't look back. I drove home feeling numb. That night, I changed the locks. I blocked her number. And then I started searching. Finding my real family. It took months of research, hiring private investigators, and digging through court records. But I found them. When I finally stood in front of the house where I should have grown up, I could barely breathe. I knocked. The door opened. A woman stood there, my real mother, and when she saw me, she burst into tears. Moving on, the woman who raised me called me every day for weeks. I never answered. She sent letters, emails, voicemails. I deleted them all. Because some things can't be forgiven. For years, I thought I was trapped. I thought I had to play her game. I thought she was my responsibility. But she wasn't. And I was finally free.